Joining me is Jerry Little, who's running for the New Hampshire State Senate in District 8. So Jerry, we talked a lot about, you're growing up in New Hampshire, the jobs you had, your work experience, and really energy issues that we're going to see through our electricity prices this winter. But I want to turn to sort of some other issues. Sure. I think there are going to be a number of key issues, and I don't know how many we'll get to, but one of them is certainly going to be the budget. The first year of the biennium, we build our 2-year budget in New Hampshire. What do you see as the challenges there? What's your thought process on the budget?
First, I've told many people this when they ask me what will be the first bill that you submit, is that I'm leaving that docket open, because the first thing I want to do is to try to get assigned to the Senate Finance Committee, the committee responsible for drafting the Senate's version of the budget. I understand that that's a big and very ambitious ask for a freshman, somebody who's not been in the Senate before, but it's something I want to try for, and I know it's a lot of work. So the budget, I think, will touch every public policy issue that comes forward. That's important to me. When I look at our budget, we have some structural issues going on. We've had the recent solution, I guess you would call it, of the medical enhancement tax, the MET tax, which is going to start us off in a bit of a hole. And so I know it's a big challenge. I look at it first as a spending problem. We don't, I think, have a revenue issue in the state. And so it's going to be looking at the budget line by line by line to see where we can save and how we can prioritize in a way that allows us to meet our spending requirements with the existing revenue sources we have.
So when you think about the priorities and you look at the priorities, and I know you don't have the lines in front of you, but just philosophically, what are the sort of priority areas that we have to fund in our budget, or should at least be really paying attention to funding?
Yeah. There are certainly things that we are legally required to do, and obviously those have to be first. We don't want to.
It's the law.
It's the law, but we don't want to bump into a situation like we've had in the last biennium, where we end up with a lawsuit against the state, which then ends up making our spending situation worse because we didn't include it in the budget, and now we have to, and that just makes the hole bigger for future lawmakers to have to address. So certainly legally required spending has to go first. I then look at things, I think our mental health care system needs to be readdressed. I think that by addressing mental health care, we can avoid a lot of other expenses, both on the medical side, but also on the legal side. And ultimately that it's a good thing for society to make sure that we have a good safety net for those who need that type of assistance.
Every once in a while we hear about pushing expenses from the state to the towns.
Downshifting.
Downshifting. And, is that something we should worry about in this next biennium?
I think we always worry about it in any biennium. It's a tough thing for towns. I've been involved in my town government for a very long time. When I moved to Ware, I went to town hall and said, let me know what I can do. I'm here, and I'm the kind of guy that believes in public service. And inside of 2 months, I was serving on the town finance committee. And now I'm serving on the town capital improvements projects committee, and I've been town moderator. So I've looked at warrant articles and budgets, and I'm concerned about spending. So yes, it's something we need to remain concerned about. Taxpayers, they have one checkbook. Whether they write the check to the town or to the state, through interest and dividends tax or whatever it is, they've only got one place to take it from. So we need to be concerned about the full tax burden that falls on taxpayers.
Some people say that casinos may be a solution to the budget problem, that there's a revenue source there. Do you believe that the casinos are something we should look at?
I am not a supporter of expanded gaming at this point in time. I'm going to keep my ears open and my mind open for everything, but I just don't like the offer that the casinos make us. First of all, we've seen a lot of retrenchment and decline in the gaming industry generally, and particularly in the Northeast, where the market is super saturated. You see closings all the time, and you see that they don't meet the revenue numbers that they promise. And then they come back and say, geez, if you just give us one more license, if you'd let us expand to this, it's a foot in the door kind of thing. And that then, in my opinion, leads to a diminishing of the quality of life in the state of New Hampshire. So I'm not a supporter of casino gaming at this point in time.
So is there another issue that you think is going to be sort of top in your agenda?
You know, it's one that's important to me. I don't hear an awful lot of other people talking about it, and that's local agriculture. As I drive District 8, I see a lot of local ag. There are people running blueberry farms, apple orchards, small truck gardens so that they can supply local farmers markets. Excuse me. Former Agriculture Commissioner Steve Taylor is out with a presentation, another one of his presentations, this time talking about the excuse me, role of agriculture in Sullivan County. More than 50% of all the maple products made in the state of New Hampshire come from Sullivan County. I have a personal interest in agriculture, and so I would like to become sort of the lead dog pulling the sled of local agriculture in the state Senate.
Well, that's great. We're just about out of time.